and a very warm Delhi in July welcome to the ACFI Annual Conclave. Our theme today is Air Cargo Leadership in a Changing World. My name is Reshma Zahir, and I am the chairperson of the ACFI Women Empowerment Task Pillar, and I'm also the CEO at TT Logistics. It's wonderful to have you all here. Now, to set the tone for today's deliberations, I have the pleasure of inviting Mr. Karanjit Singh Wadhwa, Chairman, ACFI Event Management and Director, Grace Group, for the welcome address.
Good morning, esteemed dignitaries, distinguished guests, media partners, industry leaders, and our ACFI family. Welcome. It is both an honor and privilege to welcome you all at the ACFI Conclave 2025, themed Air Cargo Leadership in a Changing World. India at the forefront of global transformation. Before we just dive in, take a glance around this room. We are surrounded by some of the most influential minds shaping the future of India's trade, aviation, industrial growth. This gathering is a testament to the power of collaboration with leaders from the government, industry, and various sectors coming together with a shared vision. Around us here, in this very conclave, are the people driving real progress, those who turn complex challenges into forward motion. Today, at this crucial juncture, air cargo industry takes center stage in India's rapid growth and rising prominence in global trade. This conclave reflects deep commitment and shared vision of leaders and policymakers to position India on a global front-runner forum. Before we move forward, we are pleased to extend a warm welcome to our esteemed guest of honor, Mr. Piyush Srivastava, Senior Economic Advisor, Ministry of Civil Aviation, Government of India, whose steady leadership and administrative acumen continue to guide the sector's evolution. A very special welcome to Mr. Dheeraj Rastogi, Principal Commissioner of Customs, Delhi, whose dedicated efforts ensure smoother and more secure trade flows across India's key cargo gateways. We are honored by the presence of Mr. O.P. Sharma, Director, Ministry of Civil Aviation, Government of India, who has played a crucial role in transforming the sector. We are equally privileged to have Mr. Glenn Hughes, Director General of TIACA. His global insights and unwavering advocacy for innovation in air cargo has tremendous value in today's dialogue. And later today, this very evening, we look forward to welcoming Shri Ram Mohan Naidu, Honorable Minister of Civil Aviation, Government of India, amongst us. This conclave is more than just an event. It is a platform for dialogue, innovation, and impactful partnership. In that spirit, today's conclave features 4 dynamic business sessions that will deep dive into critical areas, including resilience through innovation, sustainable infrastructure, e-commerce and express, and most important, cargo security with regulatory intelligence. With enhanced infrastructure, cutting-edge technology, and strong policy support, India's air cargo industry is well positioned for a quantum leap. Now, on behalf of the President and the entire ACFI board, I extend heartfelt gratitude to each one of you for being here today. Let us seize this opportunity to collaborate, share insights, and build a future where India's air cargo sector leads on global stage. Once again, a very warm welcome to each one of you. I wish you a day filled with meaningful conversations, lasting connections, and impactful outcomes. Let's begin. Thank you.
Thank you, Karan. For a contextual overview of the challenges and opportunities ahead, I'd like to invite Satish Lakaraju, Board Member, ACFI and CEO, Next Gen Logistics, for his context setting.
Good morning. It's a great occasion today in the presence of Mr. Piyush Srivastav, who's been one of the strongest supporters of our cargo industry. He's always accepted our invitation to be here. Thank you, sir. Mr. Rastogi ji, thank you for being here. Glenn, thank you always for being a part of ACFI and the other board members. I think today's conclave comes at probably the right time and great opportunity for me to speak on the event that has been put together by a lot of thought that has gone in. This year's theme, Air Cargo Leadership in a Changing World at the Forefront of Global Transformation, resonates deeply with the challenges and opportunities shaping our industry today. We are meeting at a moment of profound global disruptions and transformations over the past few years. Supply chains worldwide have been tested like never before. The war in the Western Europe, ongoing conflict in the Middle East impacting vital maritime routes like the Red Sea. And even closer home, the recent escalations of tensions between India and Pakistan, which came dangerously close to an open conflict, have underlined the fragile global trade flows at every stage. All these situations, air cargo has emerged as a lifeline, whether delivering critical medical supplies during the pandemic, ensuring the movement of perishable goods despite the sea route disruptions, or facilitating humanitarian aid at any stage to conflicting zones, demonstrate the unmatched agility and resilience. India stands today at a defining juncture in its economic journey, with a vibrant manufacturing base driven by Make in India, a robust service exports, and a growing share in the global value chain. The demand for an efficient, reliable, and scalable air cargo solutions have never been higher. The government's ambitious target of handling 10 million tons of air cargo annually by 2030 reflects this aspiration. To achieve this, we need to invest not only in physical infrastructure, modern airports, cargo terminals and cold chain facilities, but also in soft infrastructure like process simplification, digitization and skill development. Our growing network of free trade agreements is also opening new horizons of Indian trade, and we have seen them in the recent agreements, and probably we would also see what will happen between India and US, creating opportunities to integrate more deeply with global supply chains. These agreements are expected to accelerate the movement of goods across borders. Air cargo will play a vital role in ensuring that India remains competitive in delivering high-value, time-sensitive products to the world. At Air Cargo Forum India, this is a call of action. Over the past year, ACF has been working tirelessly across to focus to realizing the vision. Policy advocacy, engaging with ministries and regulators to streamline approval, simplify procedures, and promote ease of doing business. Process simplification, leveraging technology to reduce bottlenecks and enhance transparencies. And skill development is one where the pillar has been working extremely hard and preparing the Indian workforce for a technology-driven and globally connected air cargo system. Sustainability and green practices have been another area under the leadership of our ACFI board. A lot has been done even on the sustainability. And I think what is also important for today's event is the Innovation Awards, which ACFI created a few years ago, and this happens to be the second edition, and on which Keku would probably be talking later in the night. The conclave brings together leaders from government, industry and international organizations to deliberate on how we can transform challenges into opportunities, how India can just not participate in the global air cargo growth, but set new benchmarks in efficiency, innovation and sustainability. The ACFI task pillars spanning domains like branding air cargo, women empowerment, domestic air cargo development, knowledge and research, and Go Green initiatives are working tirelessly and relentlessly to drive impactful changes and support the industry's journey in the 10 million tons milestone. As we embark on these sessions ahead, let's remember leadership is not just about scale, it's about vision, resilience and collaboration. On behalf of the Air Cargo Forum of India, I welcome you all once again to this conclave Let's use this day to engage deeply, think boldly, and act decisively so that Indian air cargo sector can truly lead a changing world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Satish. We would now like to call upon Mr. Glenn Hughes, excuse me, Mr. Glenn Hughes to say a few words.
Shri Priyesh Srivastava, Mr. Dhiraj Rastogi, Principal Commissioner, Delhi Customs, Mr. Sanjeev Edward, President, ACFI, ACFI board members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, collectively friends. It's an honor for me to speak to you today at really an unprecedented time that we find ourselves in globally from a geopolitical perspective. Since the early 90s, 1.2 billion people have been raised out of extreme poverty globally thanks to the success of the global economy fueled by the great men and women in the logistics industry. We know that the air cargo industry works very closely with the maritime industry to connect products with consumers. Collectively, this has led to the success of the globe. Men and women in this industry, in this room, have actually been at the forefront of that leadership over these last several decades. But we find ourselves now in 2025 faced with probably some of the biggest challenges that we've had to face as trade policy being dictated by the world's largest economy seeks to unravel the success of the last 3 decades. We stand at a precipice, and I speak very strongly from my heart on this, is that we cannot afford to risk the winding back of the success of the global economy, which is why the theme of this event, I think, is so crucial and so apt, which is air cargo leadership in a changing world. Leadership starts at the government level. You are very blessed in this particular country to have leadership from the very top, and it emanates throughout the entire government. Leadership then starts at the industry level. You are blessed to have ACFI, who's installing the greatest sense of leadership throughout everything they do, and the success of this event is a testament to that. Leadership is then at the company level, at the organizational level. Again, you are blessed to have some of the world's leading organizations here. Large, small, startups, growing, everything is here. And leadership, first and foremost, is about individuals. So I stand here honored to be invited to speak at this event, honored to be part of the Indian community. People say to me, Glyn, do you have a house in India? You spend half your life there. And I say, this is my family. My kids would argue with that. They say, you know, Dad, who gives you a present at birthday? I said, you cost me more than they do. But first and foremost, I want to thank you on behalf of TIACA, Global Association. We work very closely with ACFI. We're honored to be a partner. I respect everything that's done in this industry. I am excited to see how India and the Indian air cargo community is going to drive change forward, and how the current obstacles being faced are going to be overcome by the leadership that you show in this room, by this government, and it will set a beacon of light that the rest of the world will be inspired to follow. So I thank you very much for everything that you're doing today and everything that you'll be doing tomorrow. So it's my pleasure to speak to you, and I wish you a very successful event. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. It's time now to hear from the President of ACFI. I invite Sanjeev Edward, President ACFI and CEO Cargo and Logistics GMR Group, to deliver the President's address. Sanjeev.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and firstly it's my privilege to welcome Shri Piyush Srivastava ji, who's always been kind not only to come to our events but also making sure he's leading the part of the change that we're trying to bring in the industry. And also thank you for our Principal Commissioner Dhiraj Rastogi ji for joining us this morning, because they are very instrumental in what we are trying to do, and Customs has been at the forefront of the change, supporting us. And also O.P. Sharma ji for joining us this morning, taking time out from your busy schedules. And also, A warm welcome to all our distinguished guests, our past presidents, industry leaders, government representatives, and value partners. Ladies and gentlemen, in this world of which is defined by disruption today, when Satish was talking about the context setting, he very aptly said, we are living in very turbulent times. And this world which is defined by disruption, resilience, and reinvention, the global air cargo industry is standing at a very pivotal moment in history. No longer we are a silent facilitator of global trade. In fact, air cargo has now emerged as a strategic enabler of economic growth. Supply chains continually, and it's also adding to national competitiveness. As we gather here for the ACFI Conclave 2025 under the theme, Air Cargo Leadership in a Changing World, India at the forefront of this global transformation, it is only fitting that we pause to reflect how will India not just adapt to the global shifts, how will India lead the way? That's a question that we want to answer at the end of this. In fact, India has surpassed Japan to become the world's fourth largest economy. As per Niti Aayog, we are also poised to displace Germany very soon. The IMF has also earlier this month said that as per the World Economic Outlook report, India continues to remain the fastest growing major economy and the only country expected to continue this growth, 6% plus growth over the next few years. India will become a 7 trillion economy by 2030. In fact, India's ambition in logistics is no longer about incremental change. It is about leapfrogging into a future where our air cargo sector becomes a global benchmark. A powerful confluence of infrastructure investments. We are looking at about 89 new airports got added in the last over a decade, 24 more planned as part of the national monetization pipeline. Progressive policies. We also had the national logistics policy, which was launched by our Honorable Prime Minister some time back. The digital acceleration they are talking about, things like ULIP, our sustainability commitments, which is fueling this transformation. In fact, our airports like Delhi Airport has become the first airport in India or in Asia to successfully achieve the net zero carbon emission status, which is level 5 under ACI's airport carbon accreditation program. We are already witnessing this change as part of the Viksit Bharat 2047 vision. The contribution of our exports to GDP is expected to rise from 21% in 2023 to about 30% by 2047. India will be among the top 5 countries in LPI by 2047. We have already shown, we have made significant progress in our LPI ranking. Internet usage has gone from 8% in 2010 to about 52% in 24 and about 82% by 2047. We are a country which will rely heavily on digitalization. In fact, we will lead the way in the world. India is also poised to cross 10 million tons of air freight, and which is driven by the Make in India vision, the national logistics policy, and the multimodal vision of our Honorable Prime Minister's PM Gati Shakti program. The tier 2 and 3 cities will actually emerge as hubs of cargo, democratizing trade, and also unlocking the new consumption and productivity that this country has to bring. Sustainability has become a very important part of all that we do, but very aptly in our industry, it's no longer just about compliance, it's a strategy. From sustainable aviation fuel to piloting electric ground handling vehicles and also IoT energy-enabled systems, green innovation is actually taking the route. Across Delhi, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Bangalore, our airports are setting global benchmarks in temperature-controlled logistics. Hyderabad and Bangalore are handling majority of their perishables and pharmaceuticals through GDP-certified infrastructure. Delhi has become a transshipment hub with more than 10% of the cargo is transshipment, where the rest of the country is less than 5%. And we are working closely with the government for transshipment to become easier, and that will also transform the tonnage that we handle, also contribute to adding to the 10 million metric tons vision. And the day is not far when we will be on looking at simplified transshipment as well. At the heart of the transformation of digitalization also is Industry 4.0 technologies, which are redefining air cargo from high-touch and paper-heavy processes to intelligent, interoperable, data-driven ecosystems where integration with platforms like ULIP and cargo community systems is ensuring seamless customs, security, and documentation workflows. Within this journey, the ACFI regional chapters have emerged as powerful catalysts of change. We have 9 chapters, even the presence that you see across this room. We have representations from across the country, right from Bangalore to Hyderabad to Delhi to Chennai to Calcutta, Mumbai, Ahmedabad. These chapters are nerve centers where national strategies meet local execution. They are fostering collaboration, addressing regional challenges, and also driving innovation tailored to the unique needs of each geography. So we do recognize India is a large country, we are diverse, and how do we meet the individual needs of each region? The Bangalore chapter and the Hyderabad chapter, for instance, have played a pivotal role in making them a hub for perishables and a cold chain. These chapters are not just satellites for ACFI, they are pillars that hold up our vision of a connected, efficient, and resilient air cargo system across India. Equally important are ACFI task pillars, which have become the core of our action-oriented approach. We believe that words should meet action, execution should demonstrate our vision, and that's what these pillars are helping us to do. Each task pillar, whether it's skill development and training, or it is process simplification, knowledge and research, or branding of Indian air cargo, making sure that air cargo gets its due place in the multimodal system. Women empowerment, this event is driven, the stage is managed by our women empowerment pillar. You can see it in action. And also the Go Green initiative. In fact, we were talking to our organizers, how do we go green? So they've given us a suggestion. I don't know if the team is hoping to make it, but they want you to drop your badges back at the end of the event so that they can recycle them. And sometimes we go back from many of these conferences and say, where do we put this badge? We don't want to throw it, it has my name on it. And we try to find some place in our office. Before we find time, you see there's one corner which is full of badges and lanyards. So we are trying to find some solutions to that as well. But these pillars are driving initiatives such as creating standardized processes for the industry, for cargo improvement, fostering the adoption of digital technologies, promoting sustainability practices, and also building future-ready talent pools. Together, they ensure that ACFI is not only a thought leader, but also a change leader, working at both strategic and operational levels to elevate India's position in the global air cargo system. This is not about catching up to the world anymore for India. India is innovating, India is leading. At ACFI, we believe true leadership is collaborative leadership. We, by design, are represented by the entire supply chain on our board, and we make sure that we take all the views along. To achieve this vision, we need alignment across 4 broad dimensions, because policy, which needs to be fast-tracked, single window clearance, cargo specific special economic zones, and green channel approvals. We need technology as a second dimension, which is incentivizing smart cargo terminals, predictive analytics. We also have a tech arena that we have now opened for this year because we believe that technology is going to play a very important role in the way we transform, the way we are part of this change that ACFI is wanting to bring. Sustainability is another very important pillar, national frameworks for green corridors, and also the SAF aggregation. Talent, skilling our workforce for a digital, sustainable, and globally competitive cargo ecosystem. In fact, ACFI has trained thousands of industry colleagues just to achieve that mission. So, ladies and gentlemen, this conclave is not just another industry event, it is a call to action. To co-create an air cargo industry that is bold, resilient, and more importantly, future-ready. As the president of ACFI, I see a very profound and immense opportunity, not just for our industry, but for our nation. The world is watching. Global supply chains are recalibrating. India has the trust, the demographic dividend, and now the infrastructure to lead the next chapter in global logistics. And I thank our government who's been very part of this change, driving this change with the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister, duly supported by our Ministry of Civil Aviation and also the regulatory framework with the customs, all the presence over here demonstrates that. Let this conclave be remembered as a declaration of our shared intent to make India a hub for air cargo excellence, powered by innovation, anchored in sustainability, and guided by a unified vision. The road ahead can be complex, but the opportunity is historic. It lies before us. Together, let us rise to this moment when air cargo soars, India roars, and when India awakens, the world looks at us, and that's the point that we are in. So let's make sure that this conclave, we make the most of it, and as we're talking about air cargo leadership in a changing world, let's make sure we have a very intense discussion, dialogue to make sure we really take the true position that India now deserves. Thank you so much, and Jai Hind.
I'd now like to call upon our guest of honor today, Mr. Dheeraj Rastogi, to please come and share a few words of wisdom with us. Dheeraj.
So good morning, esteemed dignitaries, leaders of the Air Cargo Forum, distinguished guests and members we have gathered here. I'm happy to join this ACFI conclave and also note that the heart of discussion is the shared goal to make India into a leadership role of the trade as well as logistics. So this is actually needing an alignment between the reforms and innovations by the customs, as well as it requires some compliance adjustments for the industry. Now, as we know, the role of customs in all this is multifaceted. So it starts with looking after the part of its role in aviation security in the mail and cargo system, where multiple entities are involved. Their nature of functions are complex. And to couple with that, the emergence of e-commerce in the past 10 years. That has complicated the scene further. Now, on one hand, revenue requirements of our country are great. We have to look into that. And on the other hand, we have to ensure facilitation also. At the same time, compliance with the host of laws that are there into India vis-a-vis goods entering into India or exiting the India, that also has to be ensured. And all of that has to be done not only speedily, efficiently, but at the same time, protect the unlawful intrusions into the chain. So what has been the strategy over the past decade or so from the department? It has been to automate most of the tasks in the chain. So it started with digitalization about 20 years back, which graduated into integration of a lot of cargo stakeholders, and then emergence of SWIFT, followed by collecting all the documents on the same platform, e-Sanchit, and at the same time, development of the risk management system, so that the focus remains on the non-compliance and the compliant trade is largely facilitated. It is also coupled with our World Customs Organization initiative that was taken after 9/11, the SAFE framework, which had 4 pillars. One was the partnership between the trade, industry and customs administrations. It also focused on advanced electronic information exchange between all the stakeholders. It also advocated risk-based classification and interdiction. And finally, to modernize the administration in the customs, develop non-intrusive mechanisms, and as well as smart tools and things so that minimal disruptions are caused. The government also worked on bringing out the transparency in the system. So it led to the emergence of faceless assessment system in the customs. Then also introduction of the ICE dash, ICE track, ICE tab. So whatever ICE you can think, it was put in. And also the 24/7 clearance as well as direct delivery of the containers into the premises of the clients. And in the process, the taxation system has also introduced a use of AIML in the risk management, not only on the custom side but also on the GST side, so that you can take care of huge explosion in the trade and industry that is happening. All these activities are multiplying at a very fast pace. And with the manual systems, it is very difficult to take care of them. So you have to have some AIML segmentation, doing the clustering, and identifying the non-compliant areas only. Also, certain applications based on blockchain so that document authentication can be done from the source. You have one source of truth, and also have a ledger management system so that you can expedite certain tasks which were otherwise taking hours. Now, every innovation done has led to faster turnaround as well as faster movement of cargo, which is evident in the reduced transaction cost as well as reduced dwell time. So if we see now, average cargo gets cleared in about 72 hours, while on the air side, it takes about, last year the study was about time release from the customs, it took about 45 hours, but this year it came down to 39 hours on an all India level. Well, in Delhi customs air cargo, it was 41 hours last year, which came down to 35 hours this year. And out of it, about 52% cargo gets cleared on the same day. For the others, there are several sometimes issues, like a lot of restrictions coming into way. For example, the requirement of BIS, requirements of having the registration in the drugs and cosmetics. So that may take some time, but about 52% cargo, it gets cleared within 24 hours of landing. Now, an analysis of the dwell time of the entire 72 hours, it has revealed that about 60% time is taken at customs, while the 40% time takes with the other partner agencies as well as the trade. And major time, there are 3 stages where it takes. One is the cargo presentation for examination, the other is the tax payment, and the third is the after out of charge take the delivery. So there a lot of scope is there to further reduce at both the ends. So the bottom line comes is that let's collaborate. I'm happy that industry leaders have gathered over here to exchange the ideas. And after you crystallize the idea, they have to be exchanged with the regulators. They have to be changed between the regulators and the industry. It will lead to another round of further innovation, then refinement in the processes, as well as simplification in certain areas, which may further come, and those requirements may have become archaic. So all that is the requirement to ultimately create an air cargo system where you have seamless compliance, minimal delays, and competitive and emergence of the best air cargo system across the world. Now, having said this, I would be anxiously waiting for the outcomes that you have after all this deliberation over the day, because it will ultimately translate into certain policy inputs for the government. With this anxiety, I also have to share with you the changed outlook of the government as well as the department. Earlier, the reforms used to be what I think is best for the industry. But now the outlook is what you need. That we can do. So with this, I would finish and thank all of you for inviting me and sharing my thoughts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dheerajji. I would now like to call upon our chief guest for the day, Mr. Piyush Srivastava, Senior Economic Advisor, Ministry of Civil Aviation, to address this August gathering. Piyush ji.
Distinguished dignitaries on the dais, captains of air cargo industry, other stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin by expressing my gratitude for giving me this privilege of being part of the annual conclave of ACFI once again. I've had the privilege for the last 3 times, and I hope you will continue to give me this privilege in the future also. There are various dimensions. The regulatory dimensions have been addressed in great detail by my previous speakers, especially Dheerajji. The infrastructure dimension is something that the government is prioritizing, both at the coordination level, as is evidenced by the Prime Minister Gati Shakti program, which seeks to develop the infrastructure in a coordinated manner without duplication and without disruption, so as to add to the efficiency of infrastructure creation, and which in turn leads to efficiency in delivery of services, including cargo, air cargo included. The memory of the unfortunate misadventure of one of our neighboring countries, which was alluded to by my previous speaker on Operation Sindoor, we delivered a decisive blow to them, thanks to the brave hearts in the armed forces. But it was also backed by the technological prowess we have developed in the country, the infrastructure we have, and the economic strength we have. India as a country has always prioritized development. We've never had any offensive intentions against anybody. But as a country, we reserve the right to respond appropriately and decisively at the time of our choosing, which we did in the last instance. And let that be an example for everybody else who thinks that India can be taken lightly when it comes to its border security and the security of its citizens. But the point remains that the infrastructure has to be developed. And when we talk about the air infrastructure, there are various dichotomies that I have noticed that air infrastructure or the aviation sector in general faces. The first dichotomy, of course, is that all development, all demand is emanating in the Eastern Hemisphere, whereas all services are provided, whether it is manufacturing or MRO, in the Western hemisphere. This is bound to change. The demand will obviously attract the supply here. The supply will eventually come here. And it should just not be made in India, it should be made in India. This is a priority for us. We are trying to develop at this point of time, the entire ecosystem, which not just covers the air infrastructure, but also the ancillary services, including MROs, the leasing and financing of aircraft in the country. And I might say we even want to develop an aircraft manufacturing capacity in the country. We are not trying to compete with anybody. We do understand that the global market as of now is dominated by the big two. There are two other smaller players. We want to fill in the gap that is not presently being serviced by any of these players. So the capacity that we are looking at is in between this passenger carrying capacity of all these major OEMs. But that is one part of the dichotomy. The other thing is that the aviation sector is particularly sensitive to whatever is happening over the globe. Mr. Lakkaraju mentioned it in very great detail. Some events would obviously give us some windfalls, like the Red Sea crisis was particularly good for the Indian aviation air cargo industry. But then there are others, the disruption of the airspace because of the closure of airspace from Pakistan. Then the 3 years long war between Ukraine and Russia, which has disrupted our supplies, both originating from Europe as well as destined for Europe. The costs have added up. So we need to address these issues. These issues are unpredictable, but they are bound to come. The global geopolitics is not going to be the same for quite some time as we can foresee as of now. So we need to be ready for this. How do we address this? The only answer that I can think of is through technology, innovation, and disruption. I do understand that this is easier said than done. In the aviation sector, unlike, I would dare say, in most other sectors, the demand can be instant and unpredictable, but ramping up the supply takes time. There are supply chain bottlenecks, there are lead times, there's a long gestation period, and above all, it is very high in investment. So when you undertake all these risks and at the end of it, the demand that had erupted at T-1 time has gone, so all your investment and effort goes for a naught. So what we need to concentrate on is probably disruptive changes. It's not too difficult and not too unforeseeable. It is inevitable. Things will change. As I like to believe and I like to say, the aviation sector might not be the same 20 years down the line as we look at it now. Maybe we will not fly on ATF at all. We will use electricity, we will use hydrogen. eVTOLs might be the order of the day. Or maybe some other technology will come by then. So we need to look at disruptions. But even now, there are certain things that can be done, and I'm happy to say that they are being done. Yesterday, I met one of the doyens of the air cargo industry, in fact, the air industry, and he said that his son-in-law is working on a technology that is actually a double-decker conveyor belt for cargo, which includes express reading built into it. So you imagine the efficiencies that come with it. The cost escalation, he tells me, is just 1.5 of the existing cost that you undertake. But the efficiency is 2.5 times. So it is a win-win situation. You don't need extra space in the same space, slight inflation in cost, but more than double benefits you can earn. So this is one thing that can be done. The air freight station that we had thought of much before the PPP policy also was ahead of its times at that point of time. The argument that is put to us, or rather very logically it has been brought to our notice, that air freight stations become effective only once the existing cargo capacity at the airports is exhausted. There's no doubt about that. But then they should not be competing with each other. They should be complementing each other. And this is also possible by using the existing infrastructure and timing the arrival from the AFS to the existing airport so that this is expedited. But then, of course, I'll leave this debate for another day. But this is something that can probably be done. I must say I really like this slogan that Mr. Edwards gave. When cargo soars, India roars. This is a wonderful concept, and I am going to be, with your permission and no copyrights, I'll be using this in every forum now. This is an idea that will really take it forward. There are various things that have been brought to our notice by various fora, including the ACFI. We've tried to address most of them, but then new ones keep coming. So the list never ends. It is an ongoing thing, and there's no end to improvement. We are committed to doing whatever is required at our end, and we know that you are committed to taking up, making the footprint of Indian cargo industry bigger in the global field. One issue that was brought to us a couple of months back was that there's a lot of surplus capacity available in the commercial flights, chartered commercial flights, which could be utilized for transshipment of cargo. We are happy to inform that this has been done, and there are various other things that need to be done. My friend Dheeraj was talking about the various initiatives that customs have taken. One of the pain points that existed till a year back was about the custom cost recovery. We have addressed this for the Airport Authority of India airports and the I-class terminals as the promoter of these two organizations, by footing the bill ourselves. So we are able to take care of that. But then there are various other airports that are smaller and not within our domain. But we need to still encourage them. How do we go about this is something that I'm still working on. Maybe something will come up. Their promoters should either be ready to cough up the money, because this is something that need to do. The usual refrain by the airlines is that aviation is a sector in which everything depends on the airlines, and the airlines are the only guys who are not making money. Everybody else is making money. I don't know whether that's 100% true, but maybe even if there is some truth in that, maybe the custom cost can also be absorbed by the other guys who are making money. I would not want to hazard a guess on where we are going to reach in 3 years, 4 years, 20 years from now. But one correction I would want to put on record. The target of 10 million tons that is being said that we'll achieve in 2030. If we achieve that, I'll be the happiest person, believe me, on this planet, if that happens. But we have to be realistic in what we look at. Actually, when we said 10 million tons, we always meant that the 10 million tons would be the handling capacity at the airports. And ladies and gentlemen, we have exceeded that by a significant margin already. We will reach 10 million tons of cargo for sure, but it will take some time. I don't think as practitioners you would agree that this is going to happen by 2030. But then I stand by what I said. If it happens, it will be a very pleasant surprise, and I'll be delighted to be there. And even if I am sitting somewhere else in the sidelines, but I'll still appreciate and applaud this whenever this happens. Various issues have been discussed by my previous speakers. Sustainability is, of course, one of them. Including women in the workforce is another, and this is where we have significant progress, and we are very proud of that. I would actually just want to highlight one aspect that sometimes gets brushed under the carpet. This is about the bilaterals that are being negotiated at various points of time. It so happens that whenever we speak to the various industry associations, obviously they are busy, all of them have an industry to run also besides working for the association. They do not probably realize that these bilaterals can be a make or break agreement in the times to come. Because when we are speaking to, adversary is not a good word, but when we are speaking to the party on the other side of the table, they come very well prepared about what they want. We only respond to what they say. We are usually not so well equipped in what should be our counter ask to them and what is the extent to which we should concede to their requests. This is where the industry association can feed us in. So whenever the ministry reaches out to you on these issues, please take time off, strengthen your research units, do whatever it takes, but let us not be wanting in our preparedness to respond to this very, very critical area, which can eventually break our backs despite our preparedness and everything else we do on the investment and the infrastructure front. So this forum, I'm delighted to see the full house today, and I presume that this will remain this way till the late in the evening today. So this collection of the best brains in the industry and the best brains in the country should be utilized on various issues. That's of course you will be, but please do bear in mind this aspect that I have highlighted also. And like Dheeraj ji said, we in the government now don't dictate what we think is good for you. We'll look forward to know from you what is good for you, and then we'll pursue that. So when you conclude this session, I'll request the ACFI office bearers to please feed us in with whatever the conclusions are, and we'll take it forward. Together we can, and once again, this time I'll give the due regard to Sanjeev ji. Once again, when air cargo soars, India roars. So we want to India roar once and forever. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Jai Hind.
Piyush ji, as always, it's such a pleasure to hear from you. Thank you for your words of encouragement and for the continued support and guidance that you give our industry. Thank you, Piyush ji. I'd like to hand over to Anand to present the knowledge report to us. Anand.
Good morning. Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here in such an august gathering. So, first of all, I would like to thank you, the organizing committee members, to give us this opportunity to prepare this knowledge paper. And I would take this opportunity to just very briefly take you through the key highlights of the paper. So as we talked about our Prime Minister's vision of 10 million ton per annum seemed to be a inspiration behind this particular knowledge paper. And apart from that, we also have certain other encouragement in terms of Union Budget 2025, where we have announcement related to introduction of new infrastructure and also the sustainability target in terms of blending of sustainable aviation fuel in stages. And also there are occurrences of strategic MOUs which basically on the transcontinental opportunity we have with different airlines who are diversifying in different geographies. So various initiatives which we have looked upon in this particular knowledge paper which related to like Transshipment Excellence Center, which is there in the outside the Delhi airport, and also the common user domestic cargo, international cargo operations, then CBIC enabled transshipment fees which has been waived off now, and also the continuity based enabled ULD systems, because that brings the digitalization into the practice. So one of the key factors which we have covered in our paper is the problem is of over-reliance, basically. Over-reliance of cargo focus to few airports. And we definitely need that decentralization of this particular over-reliance, because we have sufficient airport and the capacity can be developed. We have also identified certain bottlenecks which we have discussed since morning today, which is operational delays happening at different airports, and also the operational inefficiency, which is basically into the system, needs to be removed. Also the insufficient infrastructure, one of the key parameters of bottlenecks, we need to provide sufficient infrastructure, which we have captured, which we'll discuss in the next slide here. So we have identified few airports where, depending on the type of services, like what kind of transshipment facilities can be introduced. Also the cold chain infrastructure can be developed, and also the role of private players into developing that kind of ecosystem which can help achieve 10 million ton cargo, which includes dedicated freight fleet introduction, then operational automation, which has already been started, but definitely a lot needs to be catch up. Also the digitization, AI, IoT, robotics, and use of technology and automation. One very important aspect which have been touched upon a couple of times in today's speeches, which is ESG in air cargo. Given the fact that we have net zero objective for the government of India, ESG in air cargo seems to be a very inevitable aspect. So this is one key feature of our paper here, where we have divided various investment opportunities in terms of transshipment, in terms of airside transit, rerouting, and we have further divided into multiple features at a micro level, and we have identified how much potential these particular features have. So definitely you will find this particular aspect of paper very interesting. And finally, we have come to the we have proposed a strategic roadmap which is consisting of 6 key parameters. I think this will be covered in the paper. So we are ACELA, we are strategic advisory in logistics and transport. I again thanks organizing committee and ACFI for giving us this opportunity to prepare this paper. We definitely would be very happy to have feedback from you on this particular paper. And I look forward to the deliverance and discussion which will be going on in this particular event throughout the day. Thank you so much.
I would now like to invite Mr. Ramesh Mamidala, Vice President ACFI and Head of Cargo, Air India Limited, to give the vote of thanks for this inaugural session.
So, respected dignitaries on the dais, esteemed guests, industry leaders, colleagues and friends. It is indeed an honor and a privilege for me to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of ACFI at the conclusion of the first session, which is inaugural session. At the outset, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the speakers and the panelists present who have delivered such a great insights with us in this morning. Your views on the opportunities, challenges, innovations shaping our industry have set a powerful tone for this conclave. The theme of this year's conclave, Air Cargo Leadership in the Changing World, India at the forefront of global transformation, could not be more timely. In a world where disruption has become the norm and transformation the need of the hour. Today's discussions have reaffirmed our shared commitment to position India, our country, as a global air cargo hub, built on innovation, collaboration and resilience, as what our country is known for. I would also like to express a sincere appreciation to our partners, sponsors, stakeholders. Your unconditional support and collaboration are what make gatherings like this possible, has always been. And we are grateful for the confidence that you always place in ACFI and its vision in organizing these conferences. A special word of thanks to ACFI leadership team that is present here and the dedicated members of our organizing committee. and all the past presidents that are present here to support us. Behind the scenes, countless of hours of planning and coordination have gone into bringing this conclave to life, as you understand, and your tireless efforts deserve sincere appreciations. Thank you so much. And above all, to each one of you present here today, you have taken time off to come and attend this event. Your active participation reflects the collective will of our industry to come together, as Mr. Piyush said in the beginning. Also exchange ideas, exchange of views, and very importantly, drive meaningful change in the industry. It is this spirit of collaboration that will enable us to achieve our shared goals, whether it is realizing India's potential to handle 10 million tons. I still believe 10 million tons is a possibility. We will see how we can deliver that. Or embracing cutting-edge technology or digitization or AI-related technology, or implementing sustainability and innovation across our businesses in the industry. As we move forward into the sessions ahead today, I am confident that the discussions will be rich, solutions-oriented, and leave us with actionable takeaways, as Mr. Piyush said. So we plan to close the day with actionable things that will come as part of the day today. So that will happen as part of the sessions in the coming part of the day. Once again, my heartfelt thanks to everyone for making this session a meaningful and inspiring one. Wish you all a successful and productive conclave ahead. Thank you so much for being present. Thank you.